Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We're speaking, living, and listening in very extraordinary times. And the kind of circumstances that have affected our lifestyle push us to think very deeply. What is it about our life? What is it meant for? There are challenges to our physical health, challenges to our mental stability and equipoise, challenges to the environment of which we are a part. If anything, you can look at the current circumstances and consider them to be like a forced global meditation retreat. Not that everyone has been able to just stay at home and reflect, although that's the case for many. But then you have those who are doing essential services and just persons whose employment continued, whose businesses continued throughout the restrictions. In either case, we've been pushed to think, what's it all about? You see, we don't like being restricted, and we certainly don't like being confined. We want to roam freely. We want to have the feeling that our senses can just latch on to this and latch on to that. But this pandemic has pushed us to reconsider what is freedom, what is our life meant for. In the yogic texts, there's a term in Sanskrit called smashana vairagya. Sounds like a mouthful, doesn't it? It doesn't exactly translate into English, but we can come close. Smashana vairagya means crematorium renunciation or cemetery renunciation. Perhaps you've experienced it yourself when someone near and dear to you departs their body, as the yogis say. During the ceremonies at the funeral parlor, at the crematorium, at the cemetery, people are somber and quiet and reflective. Oh, life is like a dream. Here today and gone tomorrow. You just never know, do you, when that moment will come. But as soon as they leave the crematorium, the burial grounds, cemetery, hospital, whatever, then back to business as usual. So the import of this term is that when there are these shocks to our individual system and our social system, we should take advantage of them and go deeper in a lasting way. So the question that the Kirtan community, the yoga community, and the meditation community needs to ask itself, the question I ask myself is, if this pandemic ebbs and fades, does that mean we just go back to business as usual, living our consumer lifestyles? Or will we take advantage of the present circumstances and try to reconfigure our pursuit of happiness? In other words, the Kirtan community, the yoga community, and the meditation community needs to question itself. I need to question myself. Is the kind of happiness that is so advertised and consumed today, so indulged in today, is that really sustainable for the planet and for ourselves as individuals? So, how do we get to where we are now? Sound vibration. You are molded by the type of sound that goes into your ear. I've often explained this at programs in the Sydney area, that according to the quality of sound vibration that goes into your ears, that determines the quality of your consciousness. This is a very important point. You can judge a person by the sound that they're soaking up. People have different ways of judging others. By their looks. Of course, you've heard the expression, don't judge a book by the cover. Don't judge a person by the clothes they wear. But everyone does it anyway. And then you can judge someone by the company they keep. Their associates. What's the crowd that they hang out with? And some people judge others by what's your occupation, what's your educational level of achievement. The best way, the yoga texts say, to ascertain where someone's at is by the sound vibration that the person is absorbing. You see, all our ideas, conceptions, and visions of what will satisfy us have come to us through sound. So from the very beginning of our life, we've absorbed so much sound vibration. And that's how our vision for what we want to do in life has come about. And I think we have to say the truth. Regardless of the varieties of material sound vibration, it's the same old song. You are the body. You are the mind. Those are the realities that you should focus on. The physiology, the psychology, is nothing more than that. And you try to satisfy yourself in that way. There may be something higher, but who knows? And why should you want to know? Why not just swim in an endless ocean of mystery? Why do you have to know? Or some people say, one thing you can be sure is that no one knows. No one knows. So why should you bother? You can transform your whole consciousness through sound vibration. That can change the consciousness from materialistic to genuinely spiritual. This is what a genuine mantra is all about. How to rescue the mind from material entanglement. Entanglement means we're like flies buzzing in the room and we see a piece of honey-covered toast and we land in the honey thinking this is going to be so wonderful, and we become entangled, ensnared, so much so that the more we struggle, the more caught we are, all in the name of happiness. This hard labor and struggle comes about because we've heard that if you want to be happy, do like this. Everyone who is enjoying, they're doing like this. Why not you? Those sounds enter the ear, and then you get a particular vision. Ah, I see, I see, I see. So if we want to get to the root of our individual problems, if we want to get to the root of humanity's problems, we've got to deal with sound vibration. If we can transform the type of sound that enters our ear, then we can transform our life. And certainly now is the time to think about individual transformation and global transformation. We've got not much more to lose. We've lost so much already. Our psychological peace of mind, nature. Many are even losing their finances, losing their jobs. But if we can hear non-material sound, then we can get a vision for our spiritual necessities, our non-material necessities. And that will be the greatest acquisition of our life. Well, sometimes people say, must there be some calamity or setback, reversal, even a catastrophe before human beings start to think outside the box? No, it doesn't have to be that way. But if those setbacks happen, we can actually profit from them by letting those setbacks motivate us to go deeper, to think outside the box. In the world of economics, there's a famous saying that a crisis is a terrible thing to waste. So the yogis, the meditators, the Kirtan people in the know, they know the art of how to use a crisis for maximum gain. And I'm not speaking about material gain. There are those persons, of course, who know how to swoop in when there's a crisis and increase their material profits. But I'm speaking about the spiritual adepts who know how to use even a reverse, a setback, for propelling them to go deeper into the spiritual sound. So I recommend that we use the present circumstances to really think about how sound has shaped our life, so that we really think about changing that sound vibration as much as we can, so that we can actually have our ears connect with sounds that nourish the non-material self and give us a vision for non-material achievement. You see, the kirtan, the yoga, the meditation lifestyle is not one of indolence or lethargy, nor is it one of racing for material acquisition and success. The genuine kirtan, yoga, and meditation lifestyle is about how to shape our life so that we're swimming in spiritual sound vibration. Because then the consciousness will transform, it will change. Not only for ourselves, but we can become agents of change for the whole world. We can be the change that we want to see in others. People talk about that sometimes. Be the change, be the change. But there will be no change that's significant unless we transform our consciousness. In the prime Bhakti Yoga text, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains that consciousness is the symptom of your non-material self. Just like sunlight is the symptom of the sun. So by the presence of consciousness, we should understand that there's a non-material self. And our consideration should be how to transform our consciousness so that it allows us to experience the non-material reality. All the instructions that Krishna, the Supreme Yoga Teacher, gives in Bhagavad Gita are meant for consciousness transformation. And this is what the world needs now. This is what we need. Otherwise, it's just the same old song with a different beat, but it's the same old song. We can transform our life and push it in another direction based on the strength and clarity of vision that spiritual sound vibration gives us. And genuine mantras are meant for that. Many of us in the Kirtan community, in the meditation and yoga community, we focus on the Maha Mantra because that's what the yoga texts recommend as the prime and best mantra for this day and age of maximum anxiety, maximum illusion, maximum hallucination and delusion. Almost all of you will agree, yes, we're kind of spiritual in some kind of way. That's true. That means we should also acknowledge that there is spiritual sound vibration. You're not just a lump of matter and a bundle of psychological characteristics. The mantra, the spiritual sound, revives your awareness of your non-material identity. That's step number one. And step number two, it revives your awareness of your connection to the supreme spiritual identity. And then step number three, it gives you awareness of the love supreme, the dynamics of the relationship between the spiritual self and the supreme spiritual self, how they reciprocate. So this is where all the kirtan, this is where all the yoga, this is where all the meditation is heading for, sooner or later. People are at different places in their spiritual journey, I'm sure you know. Not everyone's at the same place at the same time. Who knows what I would have been like in my previous life. But we can all take advantage of the present moment in which human beings have to think. Are we doing things in the right way? Is our society focused in the right way? Is my lifestyle suitable? Or am I living in a dream world? Or so busy that I never think about anything? Now is the time to seize the time. Grab the bull by the horns, so to speak. Get a grip on our lifestyle. So spiritual sound allows you to do that. Otherwise, the illusions that bewilder us, they're so intense and foggy. We can't grope our way through. But the mantra, and especially the Maha Mantra, the Hare Krishna mantra, is like a high beam. You turn it on in your car and you can see far ahead of you when your ordinary car lights fail. We have to see where we are going. We have to know what our destination is. So that's why the yoga texts like Bhagavad Gita and the Maha Mantra work hand in hand. The knowledge and the applied spiritual technology. The knowledge lets you comprehend, lets you understand. And the spiritual techniques bring you experience of the knowledge. This is what we've got going for us. We have so much to be grateful for. There's so much wealth we have accessible, but we're just not tapping into it. So I recommend that we, number one, recognize what has entrapped us, what snared us. We're caught up in the wrong kind of sound vibration. Sound vibration that's simply about the temporary body, the temporary mind. Now, we have to take care of the body and mind, certainly. But they're not our essence. They're casings, dresses. We should take care of our exterior. But we have more important goals to achieve. Those of you who have been participating in the kirtans, chanting the mantras, should now try to make more progress. And in that way, we can take advantage of the current circumstances to deepen our spiritual awareness and understanding. And indeed, we can transform our lifestyles. And the more you change your lifestyle, the more your consciousness will change. And the more that your consciousness changes, the more your lifestyle changes. So it's a loop. Both feed into each other. Purified consciousness leads to purified lifestyle. Purified lifestyle leads to purified consciousness. This is an exciting career. And this is how to truly love. We all want to love and be loved, care and be cared for. But to be truly effective in our relationships, we need to have awareness of something beyond the body and mind. And then our love can be universal and deep and comprehensive. That's the only way we'll be satisfied. So where the Maha Mantra is leading us to is the love supreme. Hearing about Krishna, chanting about Krishna, elevates your consciousness to its original state of purity. When rain falls from the sky, it's originally pure. But then, because there may be pollutants in the atmosphere, and indeed when the rain hits the ground, there can be many pollutants on the ground, the rain becomes contaminated. So originally, our consciousness is pure. But due to our improper lifestyles, we've become embedded in materialistic consciousness. We need some renovation done. And that's the first step that spiritual sound vibration, the mantra, does. It brings us out of false consciousness, body consciousness, and attaches our consciousness to the supreme consciousness. That's what's really going on with a genuine mantra. So I ask you to please think about these very illuminating concepts. We can use the present circumstances to go very deep in our life, into the core of our being, and help others to do the same. Mere economic, political solutions, even environmental solutions, without a transformation in the consciousness, will not produce a significant and lasting effect. But if we can change the consciousness, then you change the person. So here we're talking about something far beyond religious belief. Well, I believe this. Now, what do you believe? We're talking about transformative experience, applied spiritual technology. So again, we want to get out of the grip of the same old song. It's hypnotic, isn't it? The beat may change, but it's still the same old song. And I know many of you sometimes get a glimpse of that. The reality just hits you. This is the same thing, packaged differently, but it's the same old stale thing. Many of you want to go deeper. So let's use the present circumstances to propel us forward in our spiritual journey so that we can help ourselves and help others. All this can happen through transformative spiritual sound. This is why mantra is so important, and especially the Maha Mantra. What sound can have such a comprehensive effect? Number one, bringing us out of illusion. Number two, reviving our spiritual core. And number three, giving us awareness of the supreme spiritual identity and our relation to that supreme spiritual identity. The Maha Mantra is special because it gives you awareness of Krishna, the unlimitedly attractive ultimate source. We're all pursuing attraction one way or the other. We like to be attracted. We like attractive things and experiences and people and possessions. What is the source of all attraction? This is the ultimate quest of yoga and meditation. And Kirtan is so effective in propelling us on this path of ultimate success. So now look at some of your questions. Let's see what you have there. What should we be focusing on when we chant in Kirtan? Could you please share some tips? Thank you. It's a beautiful question. Whether in Kirtan or doing our individual Krishna mantra practice, we should be focusing on the sound vibration. The sound itself is sufficient to bring you all that you need. Spiritual sound is not deficient in any way. Material sound is deficient. If I'm thirsty and I say, water, water, my thirst is not quenched, because the word water is different from the experience of drinking water. But the secret of the Maha Mantra, the Krishna mantra, is that the sound is not different from the experience of Krishna, the unlimitedly attractive source. So all we need to do in Kirtan is soak up the sound vibration. It's so effective doing that. It's tragic that persons will say, oh, I have no time. Meanwhile, they're busy soaking in so much materialistic sound vibration. What a tragedy. So yes, during Kirtan, just focus on the sound. Next question. What defines a genuine mantra? There are so many out there, including in different languages and traditions. How can one judge what is an authentic style of mantra meditation practice? We need knowledge. Otherwise we could say, oh, it's all the same. Persons go to med school to become qualified doctors. They go to dentistry schools to become qualified dentists, engineering schools to be a qualified civil engineer. Similarly, the world of mantras requires knowledge. That's why we have the yoga texts. We don't have to invent anything. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, always chanting the Maha Mantra is the symptom of the greatest yogis. So we take it that way. Apply what we hear, and we get the experience. Doctors have so many medicines, or they can prescribe you so many medicines, then you go to the chemist. But the doctor knows, ideally speaking, the doctor knows what is the best medicine for your circumstances. So the yoga texts recommend that in this day and age of maximum anxiety and bewilderment, nothing is more effective than the Maha Mantra, the Krishna mantra. So, in honesty, we present that. It's not my sectarian idea. Oh, Krishna mantra. We are saying what the yoga texts say. We are saying what the top rung of the yoga ladder says in the bhakti text. Yes, that was a very good question. I'm very pleased with the progress of the Sydney Kirtan community. Here's a question that's just come in. How to control the mind while chanting the Maha Mantra, which is very difficult to control. You know, we've got to practice. I'm sure the first time you got on a bicycle, you didn't just go riding away. You had to practice. Our life's cherished ambition is to chant the Maha Mantra with attention. We have to start somewhere. How do we begin? By giving the Krishna mantra quality time. Just like in a relationship. Sometimes it is said like that. I have heard. Look, all I want is some quality time. So the Kirtan person, the yogi, the meditator knows that the sound vibration is our lifeline and it requires quality time. The more we shape our lifestyle around the sound vibration, the more we make spiritual advancement, spiritual progress. Someone asked, what about the deaf? You can teach deaf persons how to produce a sound in their mind. Often it happens, for example, that when someone's about to depart from their body, they physically can't move their tongue or their lips to vibrate the mantra, but in their mind they can have kirtan. But while your tongue can move, let it vibrate clearly the Maha Mantra, and then it'll be easier for you in physically challenged circumstances to chant in your mind. So it's been a very rewarding time with you tonight. I appreciate the questions very much. I'm looking forward to when I can return to Sydney. There's talk about establishing a travel bubble between Australia and New Zealand. I'm locked down in New Zealand now. Gradually the restrictions are easing in both countries. So as soon as this travel bubble is established, I can come and receive your association again. So I thank you all again, and please take advantage of the current circumstances. Don't just go back to business as usual. Remember that fancy Sanskrit terminology, smashana vairagya, crematorium renunciation or cemetery renunciation. As soon as you leave the crematorium or the cemetery, you snap right back into business as usual. Let's let the pandemic push us deeper into our core. And spiritual sound vibration certainly can transform that core. So I thank you very much again for your attention.